Your Excellencies, it is a privilege to be able to speak at this seminal event, commemorating and reaffirming commitment towards the ICPD Program of Action and the Framework of Actions Beyond 2014. What I'm going to present is a shorter version of the statement, and I hope that all can read the full statement, which will be online. We must be cognizant of the fact that sexual and reproductive health and rights are inextricable from economic, social, cultural, and political rights, and must be recognized as necessary ingredients to achieving gender equality and sustainable development. Why are sexual and reproductive rights a prerequisite for equality, especially gender equality? Three core elements which embody the concept of sexual and reproductive rights are integral to individual autonomy: to freely decide on matters of sexuality and reproduction, to have the right to consent, and to have bodily integrity. Every individual must have the right to decide whom we can love, whom we can have consensual relations with and when, and whom we can enter into marriage with and when. We must have the right to decide how many children to have, if at all, when to have them, and how frequently. We must have the right to a life free from discrimination and violence. We also call attention to the fact that sexual and reproductive health and rights do not exist in isolation. The full realization of SRHR for all being severely affected by the intersection of persisting inequalities and new and emerging issues such as food security, food sovereignty, and climate change, and rising religious fundamentalisms, all of which work to undermine the progress made thus far. This is a point of time in history which enables governments and citizens to renegotiate the social contract in our societies and to reimagine a world of possibility, of promise, and most importantly, of hope. We are heartened that these challenges are fully recognized by the report of the Secretary General on the framework of actions for the follow-up to the Program of Action to the ICPD Beyond 2014, and welcome the fact that governments have committed to recognizing these gaps and challenges at the regional population conferences which have resulted in the Montevideo Consensus on Population and Development from ICLAC, the 6th Asia-Pacific Declaration on Population and Development from ESCAP, and the Addis Ababa Declaration on Population and Development in Africa Beyond 2014 from ICA. We hope governments and all stakeholders unequivocally support the regional outcome documents and the report of the Secretary General on the framework of actions to accelerate the full achievement of the vision of ICPD Program of Action and take it into the post-2015. We call for universal access to sexual and reproductive health information and services, including access to a full range of contraceptive methods, safe abortion services, counseling, quality treatment including empathetic and trained health service providers, and comprehensive sexuality education provided across different settings. We also call for rights-based continuum of quality care for sexual and reproductive health. Further, we call on member states and the international community to ensure the universality of sexual and reproductive rights and universal access to sexual and reproductive health and rights information and services, with particular focus on marginalized groups, including women, adolescents, young people, people of diverse sexual orientation and gender identities, people with disabilities, indigenous people, rural women, migrants, ethnic and religious minorities, people living in contexts of disasters, war and conflict, displaced and stateless persons, amongst others, in line with existing international commitments and conventions. Human beings and the full realization of their human rights, recognized and attested to and signed on by all member states present here, must be the goal of any development framework which aims to create a more equal, equitable, just, and sustainable world. Nothing else, nothing less will do. Thank you.